punch you, I'm gonna punch you. We have to remember these days. We have to remember these days.
Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video, and today we are finally back once again with the F1 2013 Monoposto mini-series, driving of course as Sebastian Vettel, looking to see if we can recreate 9 in a row. Now, in the last episode we went around Spa and we managed to do a beautiful strategy, managing to catch out Hamilton and Alonso, and we were able to do a 2-stop compared to them doing a 3, or it might have been 3 and 4. It's been a while, I don't remember, but we did extend the championship lead and we've started our winning streak of 9 in a row. We now need to do the same thing here at Monza, and in real life, Sebastian Vettel got pole position here. We're going to try and recreate it. Crossing the line now, and it looks like somebody was too lazy to change the AI qualifying time. We get pole position by an absolute mile here for the Italian Grand Prix in front of the Tifosi. Rosberg will have to deal with P2, with Raikkonen 3rd and Alonso 4th. Hamilton qualifies in 5th, still looking for his first ever win in Mercedes. He could have won in Hungary, but the rain fell down awfully for me and Hamilton in that Grand Prix. But enough about that, we're going to get this race underway. And the Italian Grand Prix is underway, and the start was dreadful as expected. We try and move to cover off Rosberg, but he does a good job to get ahead of me here on the run down to turn 1. Alonso has also had a flyer behind me, leaving Kimi Raikkonen behind. And into turn 1, I tried to keep up with Rosberg under braking, but I've overshot the corner and taken to the runoff area. And when I rejoin, I am a long way back from P2. I'm now down into P8 here, just about ahead of Jenson Button and Di Resta fighting behind me. But that was a good case of thinking different there at turn 1. We've thrown away what was a brilliant pole position, and being on the hard tyre, it will be difficult to try and come back. But we're going to try nonetheless. Down the inside at the first Lesmo on Romain Grosjean, but surprisingly, he's held that all the way around the outside, and that is very worrying here. And if it makes anything any worse, Mark Webber has had a classic Webber start behind me. I think he's now down in P12. So I get past Grosjean nice and early, and next up ahead of me is Lewis Hamilton, also on the hard tyre. So he will be a good reference for me here in terms of pace. However, we do need to make sure that we work together with the Mercedes, because we need to now try and keep the gap to the cars ahead as low as possible. So I used DRS to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton through Ascari, and now I will push, but not too hard, because we're going to let Lewis Hamilton back through. And this is the way we're going to try and keep up with those guys in front on softer compounds of tyres. What we're going to try and do here is DRS off each other and try and catch up to the pack ahead. But it will be difficult with Felipe Massa out of the blue looking to attack. I'm not sure where he qualified, but Massa in front of the Tifosi, down the inside at the Della Rosa chicane, and that is a lovely move from the Ferrari. But I'm not going to give up here, down the inside at Lesmo 1, but again, I get completely embarrassed here by the Ferrari. This time, Massa will have to deal with me for longer, but he holds it on the outside again. Unbelievable move from Massa, and he does end up getting ahead of Hamilton later on, and he is rapid on those soft compounder tyres, or should I call them the option tyres here. Meanwhile, Perez on the option tyre has been overtaken by Hamilton on the prime tyre. If you're confused by that, massive skill issue. That makes perfect sense to me. Here I go now on my prime tyres, using the DRS to not only overtake Hamilton and Perez at the same time. And now I'm up into P6 here, which is a little bit more respectable than where I was earlier on. But by this stage, we really should have a pace advantage. But that just isn't the case. The tyre wear around Monza isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Here comes Grosjean. We're going to completely block him in. And now we'll let Hamilton through. I'd rather be working with somebody on the same tyres as me than somebody on quicker tyres. So we're going to hold up Grosjean and keep working with the not-so-Sir Lewis Hamilton. But now we skip over to lap number 8 of the Grand Prix. We're going to try and re-overtake Hamilton. He won't really do too much about it, as we're now running up a little bit higher as Raikkonen and Alonso have gone into the pit lane. I'm not sure about Fernando, but I do know that Raikkonen has gone in. And at the end of the lap, Alonso too. As we move on to lap 9, Hamilton dives it down the inside, out of the blue, and I've now spun around at turn number 1, reminding us of Vettel in 2018, and that is a disastrous mistake to make, all by myself. And honestly, like Vettel in 2019 Bahrain, I got shocked that Hamilton went for such a late lunge after being so diplomatic earlier on. That seemed like a very aggressive move from the Brit, and that has now cost me at least about 7 seconds worth of time. We go into the pit lane here for a new set of prime tyres, and this stint is going to have to be perfect. Otherwise, we're not going to have any chance of even getting a podium or even a top 5 here. So we need to get a move on. First of all, we're going to overtake Nico Hülkenberg down the inside. We're going to let the car run wide, so Hülkenberg has no choice but to sit behind me. Good move there on the Sauber. Next up, Maldonado and Bottas, both using each other to DRS away from Hülkenberg. We overtake Maldonado. Bottas reacts to me quite worriedly there by going wide at the final corner, but he will pick up DRS from that. So into turn 1, I have to tug into the toe, use my battery, or KERS, should I say, down the inside at turn 1. A little bit of contact, never hurt anybody. We move on. I did get a penalty, so clearly the FIA are a little bit favouritist. But anyway, we move on to lap number 13, and this is looking actually quite positive here. Now that I've got the grip, I can actually turn, and I get a bit of DRS here from De Resta, which is really helpful. So our pace is looking really good, and we set a new PB. Meanwhile, Hamilton, who did a massive overcut, decided to go for the soft tyres. And now Rosberg, who pitted a few laps after me, is also now right in front of me. We did have a hard time keeping up with him, but we did pick up a lot of crucial DRS along the way. And by the time we get to the end of my stint on lap 18, these guys, Raikkonen, Alonso, Rosberg, they're all quite close to me. And if my theory is correct, they will be doing a 3-stop race. We're doing a 2-stop. So in for the second and final time we go for the option compounded tyres, and that should get us to the end. However, we will struggle with about 2 laps to go. We come out of the pit lane and look at De Resta looking to have a go here at turn 1. We make a bit of contact, and I'm not sure why De Resta really wanted to fight me here. I'm now having to use my battery, and I do not care about a Force India right now. Can he leave me alone? I'm now literally having to block him here. I do not want to fight you. You're not in my race, and you're going to ruin everything if you end up ahead of me. We literally block him for the whole straight just to make sure he doesn't get ahead. But the FIA will say nothing about it. Hamilton goes in a lap later, also for the medium compounder tyres, so we're going to have to look out for him and make sure that we keep tabs on him if he does catch up towards the end. But now we move on to another very crucial part of the Grand Prix. We need to now overtake Sergio Perez, I believe, here with the DRS. And with that said, we have done the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Just imagine if we didn't have that spin. Next up ahead of me is Romain Grosjean, but he is on probably about 10 lap old medium tyres. He will not be doing anything to worry me. And as I thought, Alonso has gone into the pit lane here with 2 laps to go, and a lap later Kimi Raikkonen goes into the pit lane. So now I'm going to have to try really hard here to defend from them. However, even I know that we've been through this situation before in my career. It's just a little bit different. We're not on the intermediates this time. I know that I'm not going to be able to defend here. Rosberg gets ahead. Alonso too. And that should be battle over. However, a back marker has held up Fernando Alonso. And I've gotten back ahead of my championship rival. So we move on to the final lap. And I'm trying everything to stay away from the Ferrari. Raikkonen overtakes Alonso in the end, but I get a pretty poor exit out of Lesmo too. This will allow Kimi Raikkonen the opportunity on the straight to have a go. I have a look to go defensive, but Raikkonen shocks me by going to the inside at the Ascari chicane. Brilliant move from the Finn. He moves up into the podium places. I've run wide to make my life even more miserable there. And now Fernando will have an easy run going into the final corner. And I could try and dive bomb him, but it isn't worth the risk with the limited grip that I have. I'm going to have to settle for P5. However, we are only losing 2 whole points to my championship rival. Meanwhile, Felipe Massa makes the 2-stop work. Unbelievable. Rosberg in P2, Raikkonen will be very chuffed with a P3, Alonso will be thinking what could have been in P4. I'm pretty delighted with P5 considering my spin earlier on, but you've got to feel for Mark Webber because at some point in the Grand Prix he got a puncher and that was game over for the Australian. He started off this mini-series so well at the beginning, but the last 2 races have been very, very difficult. That is the end of today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content. I'm not entirely sure about finishing this 2013 season with the Monoposto 2025 update looming large. Finally! Thank goodness for that. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.
Shine, 'cause we're golden.